Harambe YouTube, how you guys doing? It's Charles here, and today I want to talk about team sports mentality and how it relates to us as disabled people. Now, this weekend, I am a big wrestling fan, if you can't tell by my t-shirts, and the All Elite Wrestling AEW company put on a great show in Australia. Um, it was great from top to bottom, first match to last. It felt like a pay-per-view, but it was on free TV, and a whole arena of people were having a great time. I had a great time at home watching it. And you heard as much on social media and even YouTube. But what you also heard was AEW, they decided instead of shipping a ring over, they would rent a ring. An 18 by 18 ring, which is 2 feet smaller in circumference than the regular 20 by 20. Not a big deal. It's just what they decided to do. I mean, I'm assuming as far as maybe cost cutting, but definitely ease. It's easier to ship something over ground than it is to ship it via ship or airplane. But that was the first criticism that kept trickling in from people. And then on top of that, there were people that were mad that it wasn't a pay-per-view. They were mad that something was free. And when you talk to these people, you find out that they didn't watch the programming going up to the show, and many of them refused to watch AEW programming, which is fine. There's something for everybody. But the reason they don't watch it is because it's not WWE. The reason why they refuse to enjoy it is because it's not WWE. The reason why they complained about the smaller ring, which didn't affect the match quality, it wasn't about match quality or appearance. It was because it's not WWE. There were people on the show that got big paychecks and had a proper big spotlight on them. And people were mad at them because they left WWE. There were other people there who have become homegrown stars in AEW. And they went from indie workers to guys who are on TV and featured and, growing and even in outside media outside of wrestling. But they say they haven't accomplished something because they were never in WWE. And it's sad because when you have that team sport mindset with no other validation, you can miss out on something that you may actually enjoy. And worse than that, you could be stepping on the happiness of somebody else. Me personally, I quit watching wrestling, mainstream wrestling, when there was only one major company. Because my preference is a lot of in-ring wrestling and very minimal backstage interviews and out-of-ring stuff. Now, does that mean that my wrestling is the only type of wrestling? No. People who enjoy WWE, I don't fault them. I just don't watch it. But this AEW project is something that I enjoy. Now, tying it back to the disabled community, we're seeing a lot of ableism coming from one side because we hear this a lot, and we've been hearing a lot more that we don't pay our weight, we don't pull our own weight, that we take. And the fact of the matter is, yes, I'm on disability. It's not a great windfall. It's barely enough to survive. And I paid into a disability most of my adult life working. And I got injured at work. So I have paid into the system. I'm not just collecting a check. And I make an effort, no matter what state I'm in, to try to give back, be it with my, knowledge of music, my experience with chronic pain, disability, whatever. But whatever I do, it's not enough because people have chosen a team of ruthless capitalism. And when you choose ruthless capitalism, you don't have empathy for those who cannot pull as much, those who cannot do as much. And no matter what I do, in your eyes, it's never going to be enough. some of the craziest conversations I've had online were, and I believe I talked about this in a previous video, but the most anger I ever saw on Instagram, it was a post about reduced pricing on Amazon for those who get food stamps and who get government assistance. And people were furious. And they were like, I get paid 200 grand a year, so I don't get a discount. Oh, I work full time and I have all this money, so I don't get a discount. People were actually typing this out. I'm talking about like 90% to 10% ratio of people who had more than enough mad that somebody who gets barely enough might get a cheap book, DVD, or in my case, toy from Amazon.com at a reduced price. Or I get free shipping on something that doesn't have to do with me contributing to society. And I think it's important that we, especially in heated times like now where, we have a health secretary, national health secretary who says things like black people don't need as many immunizations. Or he says things like he needs to treat and cure autism. Or he wants to get America off of the addiction of antidepressants by putting them into camps where they grow their own food. There is this weaponization and team, this team sports mentality against us. And I think, first off, it's important to realize that while, yes, democracy and things as we know them are maybe not as stable as we're used to, there are checks and balances. There are judges, there are representatives, and there are people that are standing in the gap for us. So don't freak out. Don't add to your stress unnecessarily. Be prepared, but we go through enough shit without extra worry. And so there's that. And don't let this group think stuff get you down. You know what you do. You know how hard you work. And you know that whatever you do is going to add pain to your day and to your life. But you work damn hard to keep going. And, there are people that really just hate you because they're not you. And somebody posted on Blue Sky the other day that the easiest minority group to end up in is disabled. And that's a fact. In a matter of less than 15 minutes of clocking into my shift at a convenience store, I went from able-bodied to disabled for life. From moving some damn soda around in the cooler. And I think a lot of this tribalism, it comes from fear of that. And people, if they can find a reason why you're suffering, if they can find a reason why you're on the losing team, they can avoid it. And so a lot of what we perceive as hate is fear. So keep that in mind. Keep doing shit that makes you happy, and I'm going to keep doing what I do. For instance, like I lift weights 6 times a week. And when I first started, people discouraged me because I couldn't do full body workouts. Because I couldn't train for quote unquote something. What good was it going to do if it wasn't going to help me get better? But I've been at it for 3 years. It's helped my mental health. It's given me some good size arms and a lot of confidence and extended my mobility. So, yeah, fuck tribalism, and you guys stay strong. Harambe, and I'll see you next time.